when I started this, I thought like maybe something about something I shoot or record one day, like my kids would watch, or at least just be able to go back to.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's when I started my TikTok, was right after he passed away. And I'm like, oh, when my kids get older, maybe they'd want to brew a beer. Like, how cool would that be? They could watch one of my videos.
Dad brew beer and brew it like Dad did.
Or
That'd be cool.
maybe none of them even want to drink, but they could just go back and be like, spend some time with Dad doing something. I would love to have a video of like my grandfather, teaching me something that I learned as a kid, just for the like posterity's sake of it, to be able to go back to it.
Well, that's a big reason I brought my dad on the show.
Yeah.
Because he has
so much fun.
He has stories that, like, I was trying to share them with you, and you could tell when he told his stories, like, there was some differences, right? It's because I'm telling a story someone else has told. And so I wanted him on the show telling his story so that my kids, when they get old enough, if they want to know the story, or my grandkids, it's there. Like my grandparents, most of the stuff I had to remember them are like black and white pictures.
Yeah.
And my
That's
parents,
that's a good point.
And my parents, I have some color pictures. We weren't like a VHS household. We didn't have the camcorders or anything
Yeah, we
like
didn't
that.
either.
I think most people in this part of Texas probably did not, right? It's like a DFW, Austin, Houston kind of thing.
Your dad would tell a story, and I remember so many times he would say, I've never heard this part.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's a really cool, that's a treasured moment.
But
seeing your face light up for that.
But this is something that's different. It's like, it's a different generation. It's a different time. I wish that I had videos. I grew up with my grandparents very closely, staying at their house a lot over the weekends and things. I wish I had videos of them. And so, especially telling their stories and stuff, because my grandmother, like my granddad, I never really met him. He died when I was like 6 or 7. And he could apparently tell some stories. He's like, I would have loved to have some videos of him telling some of his stuff.
Just something.
So when my kids are ready, they'll have that of my dad.
Yeah.
And if, God forbid, something happens to me and I die early, or my grandkids somewhere down the road, they want to hear their granddad or their dad, depending on who we're talking about, that's there too. And they have hopefully hours of content that they can sit there and hear my voice.
Yeah.
And listen, I would love to be able to hear my grandmother's voice. I would love to.
I have never heard my dad's voice. He died when I was a baby. So I remember Grandpa Bowman. I know what he looked like, but I've never
generalities and stuff people have told
Yeah.
me.
Well, like, okay, you've heard me and my brothers. We all sound alike.
Yep.
Right? And you know my dad. Sometimes when my dad will call and he's on speakerphone with my wife, it takes me a second. Is that Dad or Ben?
Yeah.
Because I mean they sound alike, and I used to do the same thing with Ben and Isaac. I'm like, is it Ben or is that Isaac? Like it took me a second. I always wondered. I'm like, is my dad like that with his dad? But I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think it would be like you said. I think it'd be fun to have my dad come on sometime and just go down through those things. If it wouldn't be like completely heart wrenching, I love those videos online where they say like the 10 questions you ask your dad before he's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I could get through it. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I don't want to look back 20 years from now and go,
But
I want to know those 10 questions now.
Want the answers.
Yeah. And I'm like, that would be pretty cool. I feel like I could do that with like my kids, knowing that that's so far off in the distance that I wouldn't be emotional and they wouldn't be emotional. Be like, hey, here's the 10 questions to ask Dad.
Yeah.
But honestly, the way you answer those as a dad my age versus the way you answer that as a dad, my dad is almost 80. I think he's 77 or 78. And I'm like,
Time's going near.
Time's coming, man.
There's
that sounds terrible, but
There's an old Superman movie, one of the originals, Christopher Reeves. I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but it might even been 3. Who knows? But he could put the crystals. He had these crystals from Krypton.
Oh yeah.
And he put them in his base or whatever. He had like these things he put them in, and he could talk to his dad. It wasn't his dad, but it was like his
AI dad?
his
It was like
dad's
an AI
memories.
dad.
Yeah.
There's actual research going on now where you can upload your memories, kind of, I guess, before you die.
How cool would that be?
So your kids couldn't talk to you, but it
But they
would
could
seem
talk to a memory of you.
you'd have all your memories, your personality, and I don't know how I'd feel about that, but it would be nice to be able to talk.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way AI is going though now.
It is. And there's actually a very interesting series. It's touted as a comedy series on, I think it's Amazon, called Upload.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, well, you're the one who turned me on to that show.
It's fantastic, but it brings to light a lot of things. You're like, oh my gosh, this could really happen. You know, like people uploading their whole memory, and
They like live in an alternate
in a
reality.
VR world. And you know, we're getting to the point. You know, a lot of them seem to.
There was a movie that was like that, and I don't remember what it was called. I think it was like maybe it was Ben Affleck or somebody, but they were in an accident. And they were about to die,
Yeah.
and so they rushed to this machine and it uploaded their consciousness.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
to-
literally
to
the
like
whole
this-
TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing was like, so he's dead. He's stuck in this altered reality, and he's trying to get a Coke out of the machine. It's like $10 for a Coke. So it's like,
You don't have any money in your account, so you can't get a
yeah,
Coke,
yeah. So
and,
your family's constantly like paying for you to.
Yeah, because like
Of course, you're dead. You don't need it anyway. It's just to experience it.
Oh
I
yeah.
guess.
Well, like in the episode, he doesn't have enough money or something, so he has to go to the low data area where you're only allowed 2 gigs a month. And so he starts getting irate, and she's like, "Calm down, you're gonna," and he just like freezes.
Yeah, you get
because
frozen, they turn black and white.
yeah, they turn black and white because it saves on data.
Oh,
it's
wow.
a great TV series. I'd forget about that. It's called Upload.
Upload. I think
Yeah,
it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
But it is.
It's really good. And like people come to visit you. Like you go to a center and you put on like a hepatic suit, and like his girlfriend went to visit him in this. It's like a retirement home that he's living in, and of course it's all it's all
Sounds
fake.
like prison.
It is.
Like you-
Yeah.
you-
And
yeah.
every
It's a
single
mental prison.
every
Absolutely.
single person is like every bellhop is the same AI bellhop. So there's like 65 of the one dude.
And that's good. That gets really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
It gets really funny.
But we kind of talked about this on an earlier episode with Neuralink and stuff, and I think it'd be very interesting in a video game environment
Yeah.
to be able to actually
control your character. with
control
your
it, be in there,
And get
and
the
feel
feedback from
things,
it.
smell things, feedback. Yeah.
That new moving floor that was it Disney that developed. Have you seen
the
that?
walk-
Oh yeah, I
thing,
saw
yeah.
that. You can actually walk and
Walking
run, and
with
it.
the VR goggles, so it looks like you're in the environment. It feels like you're in the environment. They can change how it moves, so
Yeah.
it feels like sand.
I love the
mud.
VR, but like I get so nauseous from so many games on that. I'm not a
never
motion
tried it.
sickness person, but like I played one game and like I was fine until I had to. You jumped, and I jumped, and I could. You ever like almost fainted, and you feel that like coldness
rush.
start at your head? I had to sit down. I was like, this is not good. My wife's like, are you okay? I'm like, and that's enough VR for the day. But there's lots of fun games that I do enjoy playing. I like the ones where I'm a third person. There's one with a little mouse. And so you're just like standing there and you're just watching the mouse in front of you, but you can like lean and move. I like that.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a first person view, no, I will vomit everywhere.
There's a Bruce Willis movie, and I don't ask me what it's called. I don't remember. But you watch probably like 20, 30 minutes of this movie until you find out that the actual person is at home hooked up to this machine. And so the people you've been watching is like a robot that's controlled by this person. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but basically they stay at home and they hook up to this machine and they live their life through this robot. And so something happens to the robot and they're out there in the real world and they're just like so scared, like, oh man, I could get hit by a car. Anything could happen to me out here. I'm terrified, right? And I can see it going that way too, where you're actually just you're no longer actually leaving the house. You're remote controlling a drone or like and also these machines, these robots were like a glamorized version of
Themselves.
of the host. Yeah. And so it'd be like us, but like if you had like a filter that made us like perfect and things like that,
Like-
it was a perfected version. So it's I
wow.
really wish I knew what it was called, but I could see it going that way where people don't leave the house anymore. They just like remote control robots or
Mech
whatever.
suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Big Bang Theory episode about that. Sheldon gets sick and he's tired of getting sick, so he doesn't want to go outside anymore. So he builds a robot and puts cameras all over it and sends it out into the world to go to work.
Oh my gosh.
It's a mess. But
I think like what I mean about the AI is kind of heading that way is it's like so AI is basically just a language model, right? I'm gonna try to talk while I'm also opening this bottle, but it's a large language model, right? So you give it source material and it draws from that. Everything about our lives these days are. I mean, they always joke about this. Say if nothing is free, if it's free, you are the product, right? Like Google probably knows more about me than my wife does at this point.
yep.
right? That's not even a joke.
Nope.
Google knows more about me than my wife does. But like, I guess at some point with so much of our lives being online, maybe we could just be like, hey, this is my Instagram account. This is my Facebook account. This is my 200 something TikTok videos and all my comments. And here's my, what are we at? Like 12 hours worth of YouTube videos just on this podcast.
Right.
You know, hey, here's all my stuff.
Cork.
Oh yeah. And then like, hey, based off of that, I want to ask you questions. Tell me how I would respond. I mean, it might not be perfect, but like, I think it would be really cool. I'll take some ice as well, sir. Just
sure.
a little bit.
I'll take some of that.
Yeah, we'll try it. So, not to break away. So, I mean, these guys aren't like sponsors, but I mean, if they wanted to be, that would be awesome. But these are some cool guys that they sent me a bottle back in my TikTok days, and I was going to be putting the content on TikTok, but in case you don't know, TikTok has basically said we're not going to do anything alcohol related anymore. In fact, if you feature alcohol, we're going to basically intentionally
Kill your page.
kill your page. And honestly, that's probably what happened to me because, well, my content is homemade wine. So
100%.
it's 100% what my content is. So this is from Four Brothers Meadery, and the guys are super cool. They're all vets. That
That smells good.
yeah. So this is called Ixodel, which is the tree of life, Viking tree of life, and it's called Ixodel sap. And so they partnered with another company that makes the maple syrup, which is
I want to sell the coast and like raid some settlements.
I know, right?
Like, this is
let me get your hold on, let me get y'all's faces on this.
This is absolutely.
It's good, right?
delicious.
It's sweet. I mean, it's a
taste the
sweet meat.
maple in it for
Yeah.
sure.
And the company that they get the maple syrup from is also a veteran-owned company. But yeah, Four Brothers Meadery is a veteran-owned and operated meadery in Missouri. And guys were super nice. They sent this bottle out to me. So
I like it.
they mail this. So like you can call them up, tell them that you watched Make Mead and the guys drinking in the garage, and you want to try some Yixodel sap. Can we get our obligatory?
Oh, yeah.
We do this thing to start off our little podcast. So, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I have a story about Cheers.
Oh well, you're already in center screen, my friend. So
So there's a
this comes up every time we do a podcast. I love it.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So there's a show on Discovery Plus, Maine Cabin Masters.
Okay.
You ever
What is it
watched
called?
Maine Cabin Masters.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
So it's a group of guys. They're all contractors, and they've been in Maine their entire lives, born and raised, third, fourth generation. And up in Maine, it's the land of 1,000 lakes. There are cabins literally scattered throughout the whole state of Maine. And the cabins get bought and sold. People want them remodeled. People,
So they don't build them. I mean, they
parents
just.
pass on, they remodel them.
Oh,
And
that's
so
cool.
they have done a couple of new builds, but most of the time they just what's the word I'm looking for? Like revamp.
Yeah. Modernize.
Old cabins, modernize, upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe
The bones are good, and let's put in some actual kitchen
maybe
cabinets
change
that
out
work.
the floor plan, or whatever. But anyway, they're all maniacs, they call them. Because
Oh, I get it. Maine. Took me a
maniacs. Yeah.
I didn't get that right.
Yeah.
Me even longer. I was like, what?
Maniacs.
I'm ashamed how long that took.
I mean, they're all typical contractor guys, laughing and cutting up, messing with each other,
that's awesome.
playing jokes, but they always crack a beer at the end of every job together. They always drink a beer. And when Maine people from the Northeast, they don't use their R's in their
right.
words. So when they say cheers, it's cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Like chia pet.
Oh my god.
Cheers.
We'll have to check that out. Maine
Cheers.
Cabin
Cheers.
Masters.
Maine Cabin
Nice.
Masters. Yeah.
So it's like all the other.
It is New
Home.
England, New England accent.
Well, I was gonna say it's like all those home renovation shops where they.
It is.
Well, I mean, we're from Central Texas, so we've got the silo people down here.
Talk about them.
Yeah. Well, they did a couple houses here.
I know they did.
Did a couple here in town.
And the last one they did's up for sale again.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, again?
Again. Yeah, it's like the second
Second or third time it's sold since they did it.
Really? Well, I mean,
People
you know
can't
that's
afford
why
the
they're buying
taxes
it.
on it.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, because
Where's
they.
that?
The house is famous.
Well, it's a. They don't.
I know
do
the guy that
little
lived there when
houses.
they did it. Well, I knew the guy.
Yeah, same.
The one that
Same.
was in the house when they
Yeah.
when they remodeled it.
Yeah.
He played base. His son played baseball with my son this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're on the same.
I
team.
I saw them one time. There used to be a pizza place down by the lake,
Okay.
and I mean it was fantastic. Probably the best pizza ever. It's gone now. They
Is
sold
it
it.
the one that was like a $35 pizza?
No,
Real
no.
expensive,
Well, it was
isn't that-
before that. If it was ever 35, but it was like it was so Texan. I was like, I'm not going to this place. This place is sketchy. It was a gun store
Yes.
/ pizza parlor.
Now you're
and,
talking.
and it was like the best pizza. And it was an old family, like an old couple, like the sweetest couple. But the husband ran and sold guns out of there too. So I was like, I'm not going into that place. And then once I went in there, I was like, this place is amazing. It's like huge servings, great food. But anyway, so we're sitting there one day, and I don't watch this stuff, but I was like, that couple looks familiar. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, do you know who that is? My mom was there. Like, do you know who this is? And she turns around. I was like, oh my god, that's Chip and Joanna. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh, God.
Celebrity starstruck.
Celebrities, yeah.
Well, you
So-
have to tell people. So I mean, the people that don't know what we're talking
Oh,
about.
Chip and Joanna. What is that show? I don't even know.
It's. I don't even know the name of it. It's
I'm literally
the
anyone
Gaines.
watching
Gaines.
this.
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
And they were on HGTV, I think.
Something like
For-
that.
Still are.
Dude, I'm not that guy.
Are they
don't
really
know.
still?
Oh yeah, they're still
Really?
on there. Yeah, they just bought a castle and redid a whole
my
castle.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
My joke with her is that everything they touch, it's like. So I grew up in a farmhouse. I grew up on a chicken farm, right? We were talking about this. House is still there. It's on the way to Whitney. You can't
Yep.
miss it.
Yep.
Big old yellow farmhouse up on the hill. That's where I grew
oh,
up.
that's where you grew up.
That's where I grew up.
Oh, okay.
The old Sides family farm.
did y'all hate trees or something?
No, there's just no. We had like 3 trees. I'm right
okay.
across the street from our friend Jerry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know exactly. As soon as you said yellow house, it's like that's literally just outside of town.
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
there's like no trees there.
It's a farm. It's a hay fields. Well, we had 60 acres. It was 40 of coastal and 20 of like crops, and then we had chickens. And yes, a funny story about Jerry, whom I love Jerry, great friend of mine. We hang out now, and he's a nice guy.
This is good.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah. I will tell them. I will send them this video.
Send
and be
them the
like,
video.
And I'll be like, hey man, we really appreciated it.
Yeah, dude, this was.
But yeah, Jerry used to call the cops on me all the time as a kid because we would be like down at the pond, like shooting guns and stuff. And he would call the cops like, they're scaring my cattle. And I'm like, oh, it's guns. You're in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like right there, right out of town. Yeah, that's my.
Did you tell him that?
I did. I did. And he
like-
goes, well, if you just let me know, I'll put them up. I'm like, they're cows, man.
That's
They're
so
not.
much trouble just for you shoot guns, dude.
Which
They'll
we do
put
need to-
themselves up.
We do need to go out there. We did a 4th of July out there one year, which was a lot of
So
fun.
much fun.
Other than
I remember when you were
the
talking
heat.
about that.
Yeah.
Is it at Jerry's? I thought you went to.
No, it was across the street.
Where'd you go for that? Whose house was that?
No. That was we went. So we sold the farmhouse.
Yeah.
I still own all the land. We kept the land,
Who owns the land?
like my family.
Oh, okay.
Right, like I mean, we do, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the land, which is kind of funny because like, not to be morbid, like if my father passes away one day, he owns
Well, I
a
have
bunch
bad
of-
news for you.
Yeah, he will. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
When that horrible day arrives, he has a bunch of buildings in town, right? Close to the old
Commercial
pub and everything.
properties,
Yeah, my brother lives there, all that kind of stuff. And then we have the farmland outside of town. Well, I've kind of already had that conversation with my brother Ben. I was like, look, I don't really want the buildings. I don't really care. I don't want the headache. I don't want the trouble. I'm not going to open a business down there. I'm not doing all of that.
Give me the farm. You can have.
I want the
buildings.
farmland.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I told Haley, I'm like, one of these days when the last kid is grown and moves out of here, I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm pouring in a Caliche Drive.
You listening, Haley?
She knows. We're pouring a Caliche Drive, and I'm putting in a septic tank, and I'm going to put in utilities for our RV/trailer.
Okay.
So that whenever we come home, I'm at home. I'm at my home where I grew up. Back it up. I'm right there by the pond. I'm right there, fishing, shooting, doing whatever I want. I can go
Yeah.
pee off my back porch if I want to.
My wife and I were talking about the same thing because her father lives on 20 acres. It's not 400, but you can put a lot of
40,
RVs.
40, not
40,
400.
I thought you said 400. But
No,
it's
400.
20 acres.
That's perfect.
Yeah, she's like, well, there's a big tank and it floods. So like, you still got plenty of land.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not an RV park in the within 500 miles that's not full all the time.
Well, and I
Right.
don't want neighbors. I don't want neighbors.
It's not about neighbors. I'm not going to live at it.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not going to live at it.
Yeah.
RV parks are money making.
They are money makers. I'm not going to live in an RV.
My dad keeps saying that, like, that's what he wants to do with the land. He's like, oh, I'm going to put in RV slips. I'm like, please don't. He's like, why? I'm like, because when you're gone, I have to take care of RV slips. I don't want it. I just want one for me. It's still farmland, so I don't have to do. It's
You
agriculturally
can automate
exempt.
that thing now, dude.
I know,
It's
but
totally automated. You don't have to do anything.
it's my slice of heaven. I don't want my slice of like. That's where I
Bro,
remember.
automate your business and then you can buy a slice of heaven wherever you want.
You know, like that's where I grew up as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, me and my brothers played in that field. I learned to drive a truck on a 5-speed
it's
86.
nostalgia.
Yeah,
It's nostalgia.
I can see that.
And also it's like I could sell it, right? And I could make a bunch of money, but then I'd have to do something else. Like my plan, if you can call it that, is that I don't have to pay for it. I would sell this house, do the renovations I want for where I want to live, maybe put a tiny home on it or something. I don't know, whatever. But just have a home base, a place the mail comes, whatever, that I can tell somebody, hey, Robert, can you go out there and check my mailbox? We're out of town. I'm visiting Lucy up in Colorado for Air Force Academy or something, right?
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then when I want to take off to Colorado, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want goats. I don't want horses. I wouldn't mind some cows just so I could literally stock the freezer. But then the answer is, I don't want to have a freezer. I don't want to have any of that stuff.
There is something very appealing. I would never live in an RV. First of all, let me say that. Me personally, I would never live in an RV.
Really?
But there's something very appealing about having the option
To just go.
if
The mobility.
the mobility.
Yeah.
If we want to go to Yellowstone or if we want to go to Maine during fall or something like that,
Yep.
we could do that. Or if we want to go overseas,
Yeah.
we could do that. But as far as being able to travel and having somewhere to stay, that's still technically your house. It's an extension of your home.
You still have to like
That's very
renovate and
appealing.
fix and yeah. Well, that's true. I like my my other job, that my actual job, not working with
Your day
Joe
job.
or my day job.
Yeah.
I my boss, I can't remember. Oh yeah, brother.
It's really good, isn't it? Like I don't
Please.
normally like pine over this kind
I
of
have
thing, but this
several
is
bottles.
really good.
So like my plan is
just
to
say this.
drink
I
through
think
some.
even the ice ruins it. Maybe
Prior to meeting you,
Yeah.
meat had never touched my lips.
I am glad I
What
could
it
convert
was
you.
Or where it came from. I thought it was some kind of funny beer, and I'm not drinking that weird crap.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you like it, man. Seriously. And what I love about it is if you live in Texas, I cannot buy beer online and have it sent to my house, which really, I hate that because like I like craft beer. I like trying weird beers. And there's like beer of the month clubs where they'll send you like a random 6-pack from like all over the country. You can't do it in Texas. You can't ship beer to your house in
you
Texas.
can have drive-through beer barns, but you can't.
even since
Yeah.
COVID,
Well, yeah.
I thought they changed that.
No, here's why. It's because of the beer companies in Texas. It's the Miller, Coors,
Oh, yeah.
Budweiser.
They don't let go of
They don't
control.
want to let go of their market share. Now, look, the people who are drinking it aren't drinking that. Okay, so I'm like, there's not really competition, but they don't see it
Yeah.
that way, and I get it.
Didn't Budweiser kind of throw their
Yeah,
base out the window anyway?
it's because everybody's just trying to compete for a smaller piece of the pie. Number
Yeah.
one selling beer in America right now is Modelo. That's the number one selling beer anywhere in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I have some in the fridge.
It's
Like
better than most of the American beers.
that's sad but true.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Like I
Too
love Modelo.
commercialized. I do too.
You and I used to drink a lot of weird beers. So we had,
do.
well, there's the one that you can probably see over my shoulder. Tap handle. We got the Shipyard when it comes out once a year.
Pumpkinhead.
Well, I think
Those are
IPAs are taking a lot of the share from these.
Yeah.
You have these old school American beers,
Lager. Good American lager.
your
Yeah.
like your Budweisers and your Old Milwaukees and your Coors. Who else am I thinking of? Like you got your big 3 or 4. But now that we have all these IPAs and everything, they're taking a lot away. Then these Mexican beers, they're
are
nothing to
actually-
scoff at. They're good.
Which are actually German beers.
I mean,
right, but they have a huge share of the market.
oh, you don't know this?
even Cerveza Crista.
Oh no. Okay. May I go on my Robert?
Please do.
Not to.
No, go ahead.
Robert is used to me. Robert is one of these surviving members. I almost said surviving members like anybody
You know,
died.
it's not too far off, man.
Robert used to come to my beer school where once a month at Skips, I would pick a beer, pick a variety, pick a style, pick a country is usually what we did.
Yeah.
And then would have a little school about it. And thoroughly is one of the highlights of my life.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Like I had so much fun.
Yep.
I think we charged like $20.
Yep.
And everybody showed up. We had 20 seats at $20 a piece, and we would bring in, it was like a couple of 6-packs worth of beer because everybody got like a 4-ounce pour, and we would be like, "Oh, today's country of origin is Japan," and that was the one I remember because we also did like, "Hey, let's show everybody what a plum wine is," and everybody was like, "What in the hell? How have I never had this?"
Japan has some really, not to interrupt, but they have some
Oh.
fantastic drinks.
And it surprises people when they find out the things that they have that they didn't know, like whiskey highballs. That's a Japanese thing.
So the best old fashioned I've ever had was at P.F. Chang's.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, with the Japanese whiskey.
With the Japanese
Yeah, I forgot about
and
that.
it was smoked. They smoked it in the thing and brought it to you with the cloche on it and opened it right there at the table.
Oh, wow.
Best old fashioned I've ever had. And it was made with that Japanese whiskey. It was so good.
So yeah, we did these little beer schools. So like I said, he's one of the surviving members of my beer school from back in the day,
OG.
which we are planning to start up again at some point, which I'm looking
cool.
forward to. In the meantime, I mean, every time we're around, we always end up just talking about beer anyway. But
know.
so okay, so Mexican beers. Okay, everybody knows post 1940s, there's a lot of migration that happened from Europe to two countries, America and South America, predominantly Mexico, Argentina, Chile, those areas.
Yeah.
Right? So I say North America or America and then South America. But the people who came to South America, they brought with them their traditions and styles, which is even why today, if you go to parts of South America, there are cities that are like Mexican and German.
Yeah.
I mean, like you go up to like the mountains in Mexico, and there are cities, towns of blonde-haired, blue-eyed people in drindles and lederhosen.
I had no idea.
I will send you the podcast. I think it was Tim Kennedy.
But they're fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, I
German.
knew we had that in
And
Texas.
German.
We have it in Texas, so it makes sense. It makes sense.
Oh, bro, it's like that to 11 though, because it's not the like we assimilated into American Germans.
Yeah.
These are like the Vaterland.
Can I-
Like these are like
Not the.
well, they brought their beer. So all German beers are lagers. So they brought all
All the recipes.
the recipes. Let me put it this way. And if everybody's like, "Oh, well, you're just being a culturalist saying that Mexico didn't have beer beforehand." Of course they had beer, but I'm telling you, if you break down those recipes, the reason why a lot of Mexican beers are in brown or green bottles is because they're using German noble hops, which are light sensitive. And if you put a noble hop, it smells skunky
It's a
in the
skunky beer.
sunlight, which is why Corona has a distinctively skunky taste and smell, and you have to add the lime because it skunks the German hops. Okay? And then it gets deeper because people are like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." Please explain to me why Mexican music has an accordion
And tubas.
and tubas.
Does it?
And
They're
every
all polka
Mexican
based.
song is basically a polka.
It's polka based.
The next
Oh
time,
my god!
the next time that you,
Oh my! I
the next
never
time you
realized
go,
that.
Next time you go to a quinceañera. Now I'm not talking about.
No, as soon as you said that, boom, 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 boom,
Boom, boom,
it came to,
boom. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god!
So the next time you go to a quinceañera, besides the tortillas and the enchiladas and the mariachis, okay, mariachis 100% German. There's also a reason why mariachi bands do not have tubas and accordions. But I'm telling you, the culture mixed in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I love it. I'm not faulting it.
You're
but
not being reductive in
I'm
any.
being reductive. That was the beautiful marrying of two cultures because love it. Love the. There's nothing better than a cold German style beer with some street tacos.
Can I just point out the conspiracy theories about how lead German officials went to South America after
It's not a
World War II?
conspiracy theory. Like we know they did. They
Yeah.
started cities.
Well,
Man.
there's the conspiracy theory that's where Hitler ended up.
I honestly think he did. I'm sorry. I think he did.
Probably. He's not. He wasn't the kind of guy just to go
No,
over and
no.
Yeah.
He is the kind of guy that would run.
Yeah.
Yep. 100% he was a coward.
He was a coward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either he took his own life, which is the definitive cowardly
that's
way
the
out of
story.
war.
They say he died from syphilis as well. I've heard that.
Oh yeah. Well, and they're like, oh, well, we had dental records. And I love it when people always bring that up. They're like, oh, what are you talking about? We have dental records. I'm like, oh, really? Whose records? Oh, they were Hitler's records. Oh, were those from an American dentist? Well, no, that was from the Third Reich's dentist.
Yeah.
Oh, so a country
They
that
lied
would
about
have
everything
no,
else.
yeah.
When they wanted the war to end,
It
and they
ended.
didn't know exactly where he went at the time.
Yeah.
He's like, he just took his own.
Migrated to South America.
Yeah.
Oh, there's actually
Indiana Jones movie.
Or
about that.
Antarctica.
or Antarctica. Yeah. What was that? What was that movie? Robert, you're a movie buff. Which Robert, I want to toot his horn for a minute. You are probably the leading expert I know on Metallica.
Yep.
Massive fan of. Oh my god, I always get the band wrong. The band you go every year to the concert.
Wait. Metallica?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
100%.
no, this is like the
Is that-
Metallica guy.
No.
Is that like a newer band?
Oh, that's not
Is it-
funny.
Come on, man.
Oh,
Don't tell me you don't know.
You talking about like country music or
Oh
what?
my god, he's messing with you.
Dave Matthews Band.
Dave Matthews Band. That's it. Dave Matthews Band. Your hobby.
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm doing it to point out.
Okay.
You were a very eclectic person.
I am an eclectic person.
He's also probably the only other man I know that is more of a foodie than me, and I mean that as nothing more than a compliment. Because, like, you know, if he calls me up and says, "Hey, Israel, you need to go downtown. There's this great taco truck." Cool. I'll add it to my list of things to do. No offense, Justin.
Wow.
But like, okay.
Wow.
He tells me the other day, he goes, "Hey, have you been out to El Charro's lately?" And I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "Bro, they have
Video on the menu.
birria, which is
They have what?
my obsession lately. Is it's a Mexican food, and it's made 100 different ways. So if I tell you
No,
what
wait,
it
wait,
is,
wait. What is it?
it's birria.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Birria.
Oh,
It's like
oh.
Mexican stew meat.
Okay.
I make mine in a pressure cooker. Traditionally, it takes like 9 hours. You put it in a cast iron skillet. You have to there's like multiple steps. You have to cook the vegetables. Then you take the vegetables out. Then you put a little broth in. Then
Yeah.
you blend the
Blend
vegetables
them and
and like all the chiles,
pour it back over the meat.
I
cinnamon.
thought that was almost like barbecue.
It is, but it's like
It's-
barbecue and pot roast almost.
Yeah, yeah, I
I'll
can
say
see
more
that.
like a roast.
Yeah.
So El
When
Charro
it's
has
the
really
braised
good
Well,
roast.
okay,
video
yeah.
right now.
Well, I'm not done telling you what beauty is. Hold on. You've skipped to the end here. Well, you got me on a tangent.
Okay.
So I do mine in a pressure cooker, which I had to really adjust because the first time I made it, you could have melted through floor panels with this because I did the same amount of chiles that I did in an open pot. And I'm thinking like,
You should have invited me for that. I
bro,
would
as
ate it.
soon as I took one bite, I realized what I had done. And I'm like, I had tears, man. Like I was like, this hurts. And
hot.
I like spicy food. I think I gave you some. Or no, Lacey was here. Lacey was here. My sister-in-law came down to eat. And she was like, "How are you eating this?" I'm like, "It's so good. I can't stop." So you make the meat. Then you take the tortillas. And you can use corn. I prefer corn for this.
So do I.
Yeah. And so when you're done, you have this big pot. And you take all the meat out, which is in chunks. You put it on a thing and you shred it. And it literally just falls apart.
Yeah.
Looks like pulled pork. Delicious. Some people use neck meat, cheek meat, short ribs. You really can use whatever you want. That's
Beef?
pork,
Beef. All beef.
Okay.
all beef.
All beef.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people say like, no, it has to be this. Look, guys, it's a cultural recipe. I think they probably used everything from the snout to the tail at some point.
Yep.
I prefer more pot roast style, shoulder,
Like
short
short
ribs, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So you take the meat out and you shred it up. Now you have this pot of it's consommé is what it is, but it's like broth. But it's got all the like chili oils and everything. It is amazing. Okay. You take the tortilla and you dip it. So now you have like an orange tortilla. And then you throw it on the griddle. And then you take a little bit of the meat and then you use Oaxaca cheese. It has to be Oaxaca, which is for all the white people watching. Oaxaca cheese it's the like quesadilla cheese. If you ever go to a Mexican
Like
restaurant,
the disc you buy? Is it?
it comes in all different. Yeah, you can get
Like
it
the, like,
shredded.
disc you buy from like the
Oaxaca
Mexican
cheese
Center?
is Mexican mozzarella.
It's
Okay.
they call it melting cheese.
But it's like a hockey puck shape and it's
yeah,
wrapped in
they
plastic.
sell it that way. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's the queso fresco. That's more like a feta cheese.
Okay.
This is not
Oaxaca
crumbly.
cheese, a melty cheese,
Yeah.
like mozzarella or Monterey Jack,
Yeah, that's a good point. It is. It's
Yeah,
like it's like Monterey Jack.
and it's shreddy. Like think about cheese sticks.
Does it have
You
like
get
a-
for your kids?
Does it have a strong, unique flavor?
Nope,
No,
it's
it's
very mild.
it's very mild.
So why does it have to be Oaxaca?
Okay,
then?
so
Because of the way it melts.
have you ever taken like a quesadilla from a good place and you pull it and it's just gooey,
Yeah.
right? And you're like,
going.
mine never looked like this. That's Oaxaca cheese.
Wrong.
Oaxaca cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you put that in there, and then you fold a tortilla, and so you brown it, and then you flip it over and you brown it almost like a little quesadilla. And then when you're done, you get this corn tortilla that's maybe just a little crispy on some of the edges. You
Got a
don't
little crispy-
burn it.
A little bit of crispy cheese around there.
Yeah.
Good too.
And then it's got the
Why run it with a corn tortilla? Though?
so it gets the right crisp. It's got to be corn.
So the flour tortillas, if you're going to use flour, then you need to do like a quesadilla
Yeah.
because it's
The
made different.
consistency's
I
And
see.
it's because they'll get gummy doing it this other way.
I see.
They get
Okay.
doughy. Yeah.
Doughy.
Yeah.
We're so Texan.
Oh,
like,
no.
like anybody from outside of Texas or Mexico is like, what are you even talking about?
So it's like spicy meat. Oh yeah, Superman.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's super,
Super Texas.
super Texas.
I don't know another state that takes more pride in being
I wish
itself than
Americans loved
Texas.
America like Texans love Texas.
Amen.
Well, bless their hearts, right?
Bless their
Yes.
heart.
Yes.
Bless their little hearts.
I always tell people the only difference between Texans and everybody else, anyone that comes here is a Texan. As soon as you step foot, your girlfriend, who is from, we call her Boston,
But
right?
Massachusetts.
She's from Mass, right?
Even the Californians.
Yes. When you
No.
come here, you're a Texan. The difference is wherever we go in life, when we get there and they say, "Oh, where you from?" I don't say I'm from Texas. I say, and it's funny, Texans do this. You ask somebody else, "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from New York City." "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Phoenix." "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from San Diego." You ask a Texan, not in Texas. Okay, if we're in Texas, we're always going to say like, "Oh, I'm from Dallas. I'm from near Waco, whatever."
Yeah.
When I go somewhere, they go, "Oh, where are you from?"
Well, I'm Texan.
I'm
Texan.
Texan. I don't say I'm from Texas because that
Texan.
tells people born and raised, baby.
Yeah.
Like I get to take that with me when I go places. When I went to Europe,
Oh yeah.
bro, they love that. Dude, they might hate Americans in France, bro. They love Texans.
They love Texans.
We're a pretty good country. What can I say?
Well, you get people from other states and like they're from Vermont or somewhere.
Yeah.
Overseas-
Great maple syrup.
Overseas, they have no idea where Vermont is on the map, but they can point out Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in the military. You're in the military.
Yep.
You're in the military. You
I have to
tell
get
people
back
from
to
you're
my,
from
I have to get
Texas.
back to my tacos in a minute. But
Tell
yes.
people you're Texan, and they'll give you crap, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ain't nothing from Texas but steers and whatever.
Yeah.
But you could tell they're jealous. They're just
Thank you to
they're
that one movie for
Yeah,
ruining
thanks,
Texas in the
thanks.
military.
Yeah.
Forever.
forever. They're just jealous. You can tell.
Yeah.
I agree. It is. It's 100% jealous.
Can't be upset with them. They're just jealous. They come from an inferior state. I mean, what can you say?
When we had Joe on the podcast, I said something. I was like, "What brought you to Texas?" And he goes, "I got here as soon as I could."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, that's our line, but you can use it when you're here." Okay, so birria. Okay, so you take these tacos once they're kind of crispy. Now here's the trick: you take a little bowl, little cup, and you put that broth in it. So
You're only making me hungry again, dude. I already ate, and you're making me hungry.
We can go to El Charro's. Okay, so you, you take it and you dip, and so now you've got this like
Juicy.
spicy, juicy, bite-sized, melting quesadilla pot roast.
You're making me.
Oh my God! All right.
So I went to a mutual friend of ours for his birthday
Yeah.
party over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he was doing that on his grill, but I didn't realize that's what he was doing.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was making
Yeah.
tacos like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was like, I
And
actually
he's
wondered.
dipping it in the juice.
I didn't ask him because he already had like 100 beers before I got there, right? But I was like,
Well, he knows.
you know Brandon?
He knows Brandon.
Brandon?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so I went to his birthday party. He turned
Okay.
like, what,
30,
20? He's
dirty
like,
30.
He's like a kid.
It was
Whatever.
his dirty 30
His dirty
this year.
30. Whatever. I wish I was 30. Anyway, but he was grilling that out there. And I was like, what is he dipping those shells in before he cooked it? So that's what it was.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it just gives it so much more flavor.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, they were
So
really good.
Robert tells me about this, and Haley and I don't go out to eat very often, just because it's so expensive. And I like to cook. I'm a foodie, but we were like, oh, I'm really tired. I'm really hot. Let's go get some food. So she's like, where do you want to go? And I remembered Robert, and I was like, let's go check out Old Charles. We haven't been in there in a while. Local place in Hillsborough. You can check them out if you come through town. And we go through, and I walk in, and I'm like, my wife, I don't look at a menu, right? Like, especially if I go to like a Mexican restaurant, I know the like 3 or 4 things that I really like. And I always say like, do you like this, this, or this? And I just trust the server. Because they like when they go like this, you know,
Don't order it.
don't order that, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, how's your fajitas? right? And I'm like,
not getting them.
and I tell them, I'm like, so they're white people fajitas, and they start laughing, and they're like, I'm like, cool, yeah, I don't want that. And they're like, oh, you should get this then. And I'm like, cool, what? How do you get it? Well, I get it with extra this and this. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. They had a birria pizza, okay? And I'm thinking to myself,
It was a quesadilla.
A birria pizza.
so it's like,
crap.
so it was like a giant burrito tortilla with the stuff in. So I get it because it was like $19, and I'm thinking like, and I'm looking at the picture and I'm thinking everything on the menu is like $15, $18. I'm like, okay, so whatever, bro. I ate on it for 2 days,
Wow.
and it was just as good the next day.
Second day.
Like you always kind of have to like heat it up in the microwave. Is it gonna? Oh my god, dude! So whenever we want, they also have a beer tower. It's like
Yeah, you can get the yard.
A what?
it's like a 3-foot tall pitcher with a
it.
tap on it.
What?
Sitting at the table, yeah. So like one of these days when you're feeling up to it, we'll all go out and we'll get some.
Yeah,
Man.
we should. That'd be a lot of fun.
We need to go to Cidercade first. Cidercade.
I'm actually going to Free Play on Saturday.
Where's free? Okay. That was
the-
one of
it's
the
the
places
other
we looked
one.
at for my birthday.
Yeah.
Where are you going on Saturday for?
My good friend that helped me get the job that I have now.
Better friend than I am, apparently.
He called me up and he's like, dude, I haven't seen who I'm going on a cruise with in December.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, and it would be fun to actually get to hang out before we just go on a vacation. I was like, yeah, we need to. About once every couple of months, we just try to, either he comes down here or we go up there. And he was like, where do you want to go? So we're going to this awesome, it's a bougie pizza place. I call it Bougie CC's. Mm-hmm. You ever been to those? This is not a foodie podcast, by the way. but
No, it's not.
This is Robert, so like we're gonna go into this.
This
is what
I love how I'm like, let me toot Robert's horn, and now we're like all just like delving into food. This is what he does to me, man.
Yeah, you're making me hungry.
So there's this place called DeLuca's in
Reason I'm fat.
Dallas. You're husky. You're husky, man.
I've lost 55 pounds. Y'all be proud.
Hey, good
Dude,
on
I
you,
am
man.
proud.
Good on you.
55 pounds in the last year or so. Look,
That's hard to do. Good on you.
I know where it went. I found it.
Yeah. Right.
Because I feel like in the last 50,
Gained 50
I feel like I've gained 55 pounds. I'm happily married. That's what'll do it to you right
Yeah.
there,
It
man.
is that happiness.
Kids are growing up and going to too many football games, eating hot dogs.
So I think I've been to Free Play. I think I went there several years ago.
That's where they have all the video games.
Yeah,
You pay
yeah,
one
you-
price
you
and
pay
it's
one
all free to
price.
play. The
Oh,
whole-
hold on a
think-
second. I have to do my obligatory.
Oh, sure.
There we go. We're good. Sorry.
But I went to Cidercade, and I think Cidercade's better.
So I love Cidercade, but
The drinks, honestly,
you
I'll be
have,
honest,
you have to drink cider if you
your
like
drinks suck.
that, and that's my problem.
They suck. Sorry, Cidercade, your drinks suck.
I love it. I just wish that they had something else too.
Yeah.
Because it's Bishop Cider Company.
Oh, okay.
Remember they
You're
had
drinking
the
ciders, and
the-
it's like
oh,
mixed. It's like fruit punch. And
They
it's
have
like,
good ciders.
He used to go to the
Just-
pub all the time. The
just serve
pineapple
me an
cider,
IPA, man.
the crackberry, yeah.
I remember
Which
all
is
those.
fine. I wouldn't want to go to a mead only place either.
no.
Right? So like I like variety. Variety's a spice of life.
Honestly, after enough cider, you don't care anyway.
That's so
I'm just
true.
saying, like, I drank it. It's like, there's nothing. I tried like 2 out of the 5 things they offer.
Right.
It's like nothing I tasted, maybe 3 things. Nothing is really going to like knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
The other 2 sound completely
refreshing.
unappealing. Not even refreshing.
Really?
There's just lots of alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a high concentration. After 2 or 3 drinks, you don't care.
Yeah, that's
It's like,
true.
man, it's like I'm drinking like
It's
Kool-Aid.
I feel like it's White Claws. It's White Claws for people that want to be
yeah,
hipsters.
it's just the games are fun. It's
White
fun.
Claws for people that don't like IPAs.
I enjoyed myself. Let me
use
be
that.
clear.
I'll
I
use
enjoyed it. I'll go back. I want to take my friends there. It's a fun place.
and you have to order food because there's no food there.
Yeah.
I'm in that group. I don't like IPAs.
I can tolerate them if they're good. I can't tolerate them if they're just for the sake of being an IPA.
I think if you went to like a place before
Yeah.
and went
Pre-gamed
and then
right
like
there.
and then drink a few of their ciders, you'd probably be okay. But like just going straight in and drinking the ciders.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, there's these establishments. The one that we're talking about is Cidercade, which is Bishop Cider Company up in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
It's in Fort Worth. You pay it's $10 for a day or $20 for the whole month.
yeah. Oh really? I didn't know you could do it for a whole month.
For $20, you get a bracelet or you get like a card, and
Probably a card.
and it's like a walk-in Chuck E. Cheese for adults.
$20 for the entire month.
Yes, because I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, should we just get the $20 in case we come back? She's like, we're not going to come back, and we didn't. So I was like, okay,
Yeah. If you live
But
nearby,
if you live nearby, it'd be amazing.
100%.
the games are awesome. The games are
Yeah,
awesome.
it
Like
is a
every game you played as a
giant-
kid. I don't know.
all the arcade games.
Oh yeah,
No, I play like Ninja Turtles and all the old stuff
Oh, yeah,
like I used to
yeah.
play.
Yeah, yeah. Tapper.
Guitar Hero.
Pinball.
So
Pinball?
How old are you?
I'm 41,
Okay.
I will be 38 this year.
I'll be 50 this year.
50.
So our video games are a little different.
You grew
Yeah.
up on Atari.
I did.
Yeah.
I had
And
the first
Atari was just
console.
before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played Atari, but
I
didn't-
had an Atari because my
Super
brothers had
Nintendo
one.
was probably your.
I started with regular.
I grew up.
regular
I grew up
Nintendo.
with NES. That was the first thing I really remember.
So I actually had it in television
Wow.
with the little
Aren't you
paddles,
cultured?
with the paddles and the little things you slip into the controller that have the different buttons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first game console.
I've
And
seen
then
those.
the Atari, and then the Sega, the original.
Oh yeah.
And then I got the NES, and then Super NES, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I have a
Can I
Switch or whatever.
can I just say this? Games are fun today, but they're nothing like
I agree.
they were. Super Nintendo, probably like the 90s. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PS1. That's like the Nintendo 64. That's the golden
I feel
era.
like Dreamcast was the last one that was like really good. Like because it took the N64 just
Dreamcast-
a little further.
Dreamcast was good, but nobody played it.
I know,
In
I know.
hindsight, we're like, oh, these games were
It
good, but
didn't
nobody
catch
played it.
on
Yeah.
At the time.
But man, like all that
Well,
stuff.
they were also trailblazers. All
Yeah.
these companies were blazing trails and doing things nobody had ever done before.
But what's crazy is like I have the Switch Pass, like the Nintendo, and all those games are on there.
Yeah, I have.
And it's like I
Yeah.
can't fucking play them. It's like
Yeah.
I'll play with my kids, like GoldenEye. I'll play that. Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
I'll play these games, but like I'll be sitting on my computer. It's like, man, I could now that the kids are asleep, catch up on like Breath of Fire because I loved RPGs. I could catch up on these games and get them done. And it's like I just had no. The games have come so far since then, but they lost the magic, if that makes sense. There's just
I do agree with that. So, like, I grew up obviously like in arcade games. You're talking Galaga, Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, God, I love Galaga.
Q*bert,
I love Galaga
right?
too.
Like the
Missile Command.
the OG, like the original Tron games, like the OG console games that were in every skating rink and mall in America. And those are what I compare everything to.
Pac-Man.
If my experience playing whatever the new game is I'm playing isn't as fun as I was having when I was playing Galaga, I probably won't play it anymore.
Yeah.
You want my hot take? So this
No.
this
No. We don't want your hot take, Israel.
What's your
Keep
cold
it to yourself.
We were talking earlier about how the attention span of most people today, right?
Oh, it's like 12 seconds or something.
Exactly. Okay.
Wow.
We have a podcast.
Yep.
We were talking analytics. And we were talking about how, this episode's probably going to be 2 hours, 3 hours, as much time as you want to give us. Let's put it that way, right? And of that 3 hours, no, people don't really watch the whole 3 hours, except for like maybe me or I force my wife, right? I'm sure there are people who do, but not everybody.
Right.
But we make clips.
Right.
We were talking about Joe Rogan. Love Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't watch a lot of videos all the way through. They're like 4 hours.
You watch a clip of whatever guest he has on
Yep.
because they're talking about a certain thing.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, that's
That interests
fascinating.
me, yeah.
It's the same thing. Like when I had to study a book in college, I didn't read the book. I read the Cliff Notes.
Right.
Right? So we were talking
That's
about
just the
how
way humanity is.
TikTok is as popular as it is because I don't need a 45-minute video reviewing a product anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want the unboxing and everything else. I want the 1 minute
Down and dirty.
condensed down and dirty.
Yep.
But this is my hot take. Video games have gone completely the opposite because let's be honest, all the old games that we loved playing
You could beat
were
them.
the 12-second attention span.
Yeah.
Super Mario was not about sitting there and playing it for 3 days straight.
No.
Yeah.
And now when a game comes out,
You
I
need
am
to commit.
Yeah.
overwhelmed by the quality of the games. Don't get me wrong. I've been playing Helldivers. I've been playing Call of Duties. I've been playing. I had never played it, but I started playing Tom Clancy's Breakpoint. My God, I had no idea that game was so in depth.
So
it's like
involved.
Skyrim. It's open world. You walk wherever you want.
Don't ever compare Skyrim with an in-depth game.
I meant as far as how big it is, right?
Yeah.
The scale.
Look at Skyrim. I loved that game. Look at Halo. Good game. But nowadays, I'm bored. I don't have the attention span to play a game. And honestly, it's not the attention span. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Between work and kids and everything else, I'm with you. It's the same thing with like drinking a beer. I don't want a 3% beer. because I don't want to sit there and
What's the
drink.
point?
I don't want to drink 12 of
just
them.
carbs at that point.
It's
Might as well
just carbs.
Eat bread, eat a slice of bread, and just
Right.
My wife makes fun of me because she's like, she calls me a 2-drink guy. When I'm sitting there watching a movie or whatever, I make 2 good stiff drinks and then I watch some TV. And after
chill.
about 2 episodes, I'm bored and I want to go to bed. So I think it's funny that like we make fun of the TikTok generation for the short attention spans. But honestly, when I'm playing video games, it's exactly what I want. I want the 30-second fix.
That's not me.
Really?
That's not me.
So you can sit down and play like Elder Ring still? And like play for
Elden
a
Ring,
weekend?
I never played. But let me tell you a story.
Please.
An old man story. An old man gamer story. Early 2000s, Bethesda, when they still made good games, they came out with, I don't know if you played this, but it was called Morrowind.
Yeah.
Morrowind.
The precursor
literally
to
every
Skyrim.
piece of armor was a separate piece, like you had to actually collect and
Yeah.
put on your character.
And you can like
And
modify them, right?
you couldn't join every guild,
Okay. You had to pick a
and
path.
it's complete open world, but your actions had consequences. A
Who
Oblivion
you joined and who, like, what
Yeah.
the final missions
you
would
could
be.
you could completely create magic spells based off, like, it had the most in-depth magic creation system ever in any game, probably, except for its predecessor, which I'll talk about in a second. But Morrowind was huge.
Yeah.
Then Oblivion came out. The map was bigger, but everything was simplified. They took skills away and stuff. Skyrim came out. I love Skyrim. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it, but it's extremely dumbed down.
Really?
You got
I
like,
never played Morrowind.
you got like 3 armor pieces you pick from, maybe 4. I don't remember.
It's like
But
leather, steel, or
You don't.
dragon
You
scales.
can't make magic spells.
Right.
That's all it
It's
was.
all very basic.
Yeah.
Even in Morrowind, like the direction you picked when you attacked determined the direction of your attack. And
Oh.
and certain types of attacks had more effects. So like if you had a dagger, you wanted to thrust. You didn't want to swing because it would have as much impact. A sword, you want to swing. So the direction you were going when you attacked made a big difference. It was before Morrowind. This is before my time. I've
I
played
love
it.
how getting into this he is. Like, I can tell.
I love games.
He's on his high
He's
horse.
intense.
I love it, man. I
But
love
before
it.
Morrowind, there was another game called Daggerfall.
Okay, I've never heard of this.
Daggerfall was totally pixel based. Morrowind was actually like 3D models, but Daggerfall was completely pixel based. The world was so big, it would take literal months
To find
to
everything.
walk across in real time. Like if you went on one end of the map, one end of the map, if I can get that out, and tried to walk to the other end, it would take you months.
Wow.
You could fit
This is pre-fast travel.
this Daggerfall had providences. You could fit the map of Skyrim within a fraction of a providence.
Wow.
Granted, a lot of it is procedurally generated. The dungeons are procedurally generated, but it was a huge game. You could climb walls.
Yeah.
You could make spells. So game. My point is, like, this is,
They've dumbed down.
we came from
games.
kind of like a D&D mindset
Yeah.
to a very casual mindset.
Which I've still never played, by the way.
what?
I never played D&D.
Never played D&D?
I didn't have enough friends.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. The way I was raised, we weren't allowed to play D&D because
Oh no, that's
Yeah,
Satan.
magic and stuff like that.
That's
That's
the
the
devil.
devil.
Yeah.
That's the devil.
But you can actually download Daggerfall for free.
Really?
On either Bethesda website or Steam, because it's so old that basically they're like, yeah, you can just play it for free. And there's
That's
also
so cool.
a Unity. It's called Daggerfall Unity. Unity is like an open source program. I'm not really familiar with it, but so all the bugs and all the issues with Daggerfall, or because Daggerfall is notoriously buggy.
Oh.
It's a Bethesda game. but
Yes,
Unity,
but it didn't cost $140.
but Unity is open source and it totally takes most of that out. And so it's totally playable for free.
That's
you
cool.
can mod it now, like 3D models and stuff. It is a huge game.
I play a lot of older games just because I don't want to have to upgrade my system.
Yeah.
To play computer games.
You
that
can
I grew
totally
up in.
play Daggerfall.
I was gonna say, so that's why I'm like, I play a lot of the like old Star Wars games and stuff that I
Yeah.
grew up with for the same
Like
reason.
Outcast and all that stuff.
Yeah, because
Jedi
it's
Outcast.
it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to play, and like I still remember some of the cheat codes. And
But-
plus, I miss cheat codes. Why is that not a thing anymore? What like?
Because you can just mod whatever you want. You
Well,
can still
no,
do cheat
but like on
codes.
consoles and stuff. Like I remember,
Oh, yeah.
back in the day playing NES when you're playing like Punch
down,
Out.
down, left, right,
A B A B
Contra?
start. Yeah, dude, it was on everything. Like
But
nowadays, they're like, oh, that would be cheating. I'm like, it's because they want you to play online. They don't want you to have like hacks and cheats and everything else. And
So
so
limited
But I guess where I wanted to go with this is you had these great complex games that
Yeah.
we're still playing today. Daggerfall, Morrowind, they're held as like up there as far as like RPGs go. Even the Final Fantasy games from that decade. However, it's easier, and I'm just gonna say it. It's easier to make more accessible, dumbed down content now. I'm looking at you, Bethesda, right? To make dumbed down content that's more accessible, but it doesn't
why
have much
make a
replay
game that
value.
lasts for 15 years when you can sell another one for $100 next
Or
season?
why put all the content in it? We could do a DLC that adds that content.
A monthly subscription
Yeah.
DLC. That's what kills me,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But then again, you have games like Elden Ring, which I haven't played, but I have a lot of respect for it because I know it's hard.
I've heard
Most
that.
games today are made so easy that there was like in the 90s, Mega Man, games like that, Battletoads.
I remember Battletoads.
No, but did you know anyone that beat Battletoads growing up?
If they did, they're a liar.
I still don't.
They're a
I still
liar.
don't. And there was something to it. Games were hard, and you had to have actual skills. And if they were easy, nobody cared if you beat it.
When I play a video game now, my wife makes fun of me. I remember playing Halo, and I wanted on Legendary. I wanted to find all the skulls. I wanted to grind. I wanted to grind at it. Plus, I'm sorry, the greatest game of all time for me will always be the Halo series. It was up and down, but that dude brought multiplayer to what it is today.
Halo
Nothing
2
was greater
online
than hearing somebody
was peak.
Yes. Then hearing somebody get down next to you and be like, kill Trocity. Like that guy's voice is still like etched into my like
Atrocity.
yeah. Multi-kill. All of that stuff. Like it's so iconic.
Yeah.
So nostalgic for me. But now when I play anything, new Call of Duty comes out. I always buy it for my wife because she plays all the zombies. She's probably playing zombies right now. Every time a new one comes out, I want to play the single player. I do not want to run around dressed as a robot panda with some like speckled star galaxy cam shooting laser bolts with like duck toys hanging
was
off of
before
my
all
gun.
that, though.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want anything to do with the multiplayer or even the zombies anymore. I just want to run around as Captain Price.
kill stuff.
I,
Find stuff.
I want to take
Who's
that like,
Captain Price?
don't mess with me.
Is that his actual name?
Yeah, Captain Price.
Where did you learn that at?
From Call of Duty. I've played it for like 10
Oh, I
years.
thought we were talking about Halo.
No, I'm saying
I was like, where'd you hear
when
that
the,
from?
When the new stuff comes out, like I'm just going to play the single player where I can run through the mission because there's going to be the sniper mission. There's going to be the mission where you're in the air, the AC-130 and you're like raining hell down on people. Every game has it, but she makes fun of me because now when I play it, I pick the easiest setting and I just run through the multiplayer or the single player ones.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I thought you wanted to grind. I thought you wanted to. I'm like, no,
no.
I don't want to because it's
It
like
takes the fun out of it.
it takes the fun out of it now. Now they like intentionally make it super hard, and there's no reward for it because I don't have the community. I don't have my friends be
okay,
like,
stop.
check out my legendary skull over here that I got. Like
They don't make it hard.
they don't make it
They
hard.
don't make it hard. What they do,
and there's no reward for it being hard.
what they do instead of making it hard, is they increase the damage you take, you reduce the damage they take. They scale it. It's not
Or they
making it
just
hard.
have more bad
It's not-
guys or something.
It's not
yeah.
about skill.
Yeah.
It's not about skill. It's about you have an unfair advantage now.
Yeah.
You take more damage than they do. And in so many games,